everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you're about to see here. I'm gonna jump right in. This is my May 22nd paycheck to paycheck system video. This is the second paycheck of the month and I have so much information to go over with you guys. So I'm gonna try and talk or just not talk too quickly, but I'm going to try to talk quickly just to get through this as quickly as possible for you. So I have my calculator here, I have my notebook where I'm doing my budgets, and I also have the budget notebook that I had set up previously to this, and this is going to be helpful because we need to recap just for one hot second. All right, I dropped my pen. The pen I'm using today is a new one. It is Bic Gelosity, and this comes in a 0.5 tip, which is my preference, and I absolutely love it. And these are very inexpensive. I think you get 10 of them for like around $4 and some odd change. But anyways, absolutely love it. So still loving my Muji pen. I love a scratcher, and I call anything with less than a 0.5 tip a scratcher because when you write with it, it kind of sounds like it's scratching on the paper. Absolutely love that. So let's go back to May 2020's monthly budget. I'm going to do this again for June, and you guys are going to see it's just going to be a little tiny bit different. These printables I make, and they are in my Etsy shop. I'm going to keep them up throughout May and May only for 20 cents a piece. So if you visit my Etsy shop, the link is down below. You can see it's called Lil Paper Treats Co for company. You'll see that all my budget printables right now are 20 cents. It is costing me money to do it that way, but I was trying to do something that could be somewhat helpful to anybody during quarantine who is working on their budget. So end of May, that will be it because it is costing me money to list them that way. So for the month of May, I have two paychecks, one on May 8th, which I already went over, and then another one on May 22nd, which was just this past Friday. And the first one was $15.14, and the second one is actually $15.16 because of deductions and taxes and things like that. One is probably always going to be $15.14. The other one's always going to be $15.16. I'm not sure why I wrote $15.14 twice, but $2 doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. The total income down here, I had $30.28, and then our bills rack up to $26.46. So in order to explain that, I went through all of our bills right here on this sheet, and this video is on my channel. You can see what all we have due every month and the totals and things like that. So in my videos, I do real numbers because I actually use these sheets and printables moving forward to organize myself and to pay our bills. So I do have to have it be accurate and use real numbers. So keep that in mind. I bring in roughly about $30.30 a month, and our bills are $26.46. So the reason why I just have one income down is because my husband applied for unemployment first week of April, and he was it's just been more runaround than I can even wrap my head around. And so he actually had to go to the headquarters of his work. He had to drive there. He actually had to fill some things out in person and straighten things out in person. And hopefully, they said in the next coming weeks, we will see a retroactive payment to him. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't really bank on it because we have been getting the runaround. So I know that things are crazy though, and the unemployment system is overloaded right now. For me, I'm probably going to have to talk about this a little bit more in depth to you guys. I'm getting a pay cut. I've been furloughed, and that means I am losing 10% of my income from now moving forward for at least the next fiscal year, which is until July of 2021. So as you can see, let's just go to 30/30 minus 10%, I'm going to be losing at least $303 a month moving forward for at least a year. Now, they can increase that at any time. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just got the news on Friday, and I'm still trying to process that. But for right now, let's just push forward with the way things are. It seems like every time we try to get ahead a little bit, we get knocked back a little bit more. So, you know, it is what it is. Everybody has their struggle, and thank God the main thing is throughout this whole thing, we're healthy. So May 8th, 2020, I had a paycheck of $15.14, and I put that money into these 3 allocations. So what I needed to do was clarify something. Here I had bill/emergency fund. This is incorrect. So I just named it incorrect. I still put $1,000 aside for June's bills, but I shouldn't have had emergency right here. My emergency fund that I'm trying to build up 6 months of salary falls under my sinking funds. I have 4 sinking funds right now, and that includes dogs, savings, emergency, and Christmas club. So my emergency fund that I'm trying to build up, Dave Ramsey style, I'm trying to build up 6 months of salary. So in case we lose our jobs permanently or something else crazy happens, we have some money to fall back on. So here, this is just my bills fund. So in May 8th, I put aside the money for bills, variable, and sinking. And the reason why I was able to do that for June is because we had already paid all of our May bills by this date with our stimulus money. So I was able to get a month ahead. Now, it has been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, is pay my bills on the 1st of every month. And the way I was able to finally get a little bit ahead and start that process was only because we got the stimulus money. So had we not received that, I would not have been able to put this into motion. So since I put $1,000 for June, and I'm going to write that here because that would be helpful. And I'm going to have to rewrite today's too. And I'm not going to write it all out like this because it'll just take me more time and more video time. But this is $1,000 towards June. I had $204 left for variables and $310 for sinking. So I put down here what I did with my variables, and this is actually cash envelopes. And I wasn't using cash envelopes at the time. I'm going back to that system. I was doing electronic or cashless cash envelopes. So that's that. So let's open up to a new sheet of paper where I'm going to get to explaining this week. Now on May 21st, you may or may not have watched that video where I did my sinking fund stuffing again. We got our first pay from Grubhub, and I say I signed up for it. I've been doing the deliveries. Sometimes I do them by myself, but most of the time I bring my husband with me so he can drive and I can just do the delivery part. And then that is Grubhub. And again, I'm going to have to redo all this because I don't like the way this looks. So pay number 1. And in that pay, for the first week exactly, it was only a 4-day week because we started on a Thursday instead of a Monday. So we received $835.78. So I'm going to put that down as Thursday pay because they pay out every Thursday no matter how much it is. And I thought that was pretty good because, like I said, that wasn't a full week. That was for 4 days. But we got $835.78. Now, up until that Thursday, we had also made some money for the following week, and we were up to $600 and some dollars. But what I did is I took $500 of that. So I'm going to put additional, and this is all going to help this paycheck, so you're going to understand in a second. So $500 I cashed out. All right. So that is a total. Let's do $835.78 plus 500 is $1335.78. Okay. All right, so that is where we were at with Grubhub. So the reason why I need to go over this is because I did some things with the money, and you'll understand that in a second. So let's take $1335 again, 78 minus 950. I put 950 into the sinking funds, including the emergency fund that I'm trying to build up Dave Ramsey style. So I'm going to put sinking funds was $950. And if you're interested in seeing the sinking fund video, it is on my channel. And then remaining is $385.78. Just the last video that I did on my sinking funds and explained Grubhub and everything, there is a lot of explanation in there. So you may want to go back and watch that if you're interested in that, if you're interested in seeing how Grubhub works, how and why we made the money we did, and what I did with all that money. So you can go back and see that. So I'm going to put a line here so you can see everything that was done with the Grubhub payments. So $835.78 plus an additional $500 that I cashed out into this week. So that means we're still not going to get a full paycheck, quote unquote, next Thursday because I already dipped into it. Brought us to $1335.78. I took $950 out in cash, put that into my sinking funds, which leaves me an additional $385.78. All right, so the reason why this is important is because I need some of this money to cover June's bills. So on May 22nd, 2020, that's my paycheck. My paycheck number 2 for the month. So Friday pay is $15.16. I'm not really sure how we're gonna go forward. I mean, once my husband gets paid, once he gets back to work, he's supposed to be going back to work in July, but until then, I'm baffled. I'm baffled that now I have a pay cut too on top of everything else. I don't know. That still, we had a round of layoffs at my work. That still doesn't protect us from a second round of layoffs. Hopefully I can skid by the second time too. I don't know. I'm just trying to do the best I can. And that's why this is literally paycheck to paycheck. So Friday pay was $15.16, and then Grubhub carryover, I'm going to put rollover, is $385, and I'm not going to put the change down, okay? So let's do $15.16 plus $385. That gives us $19.01. And thank goodness for Grubhub, because I didn't put enough aside for June's bills. I put $1,000 aside. If our bills are $26.46, yeah, even if I put my entire paycheck of $15.16, so if I had $1,000 to begin with, plus $15.16, that's $25.16, minus $26.46, I would still be short $130. So again, thank God for the Grubhub option, because I need that $130 to cover all our bills for June. So June bills, okay, so we have $1,000 from May 8th. All right, and then $15.16 from May 22nd. Okay, so that we also need $130 from Grubhub. Okay, so let's add it all up. 1,000 plus 15.16 plus 130, 26.46. Okay, so that's 26.46 total bills. I am so sorry. I know it's like my writing is horrible and not very fun to look at, but anyway. So let's look at what we've got. All right, does anybody do that? I talk about that sometimes too. Whenever you're trying to like refresh your calculator, you can't just press this once. You have to click, click, click. So anyway, that is what I need for my total bills, and that is the money coming out. All right, so I just wrote 1901 here, and I don't know why I did that. So the Grubhub rollover was $385. minus the extra $130 that I need for bills leaves me $255. So plus $255 for cash envelopes. And those are my variable expenses. So will that be enough for us for the week? Yes. This typically would have had to last us 2 weeks because I'm only getting paid every 2 weeks. But since we are getting paid weekly by Grubhub, I will be able to add enough for food and gas and dogs and all that next week. So that's going to kind of be, I think, my alternate pay for now, and as long as I keep doing this. But as you can see here, I had $385 extra from Grubhub. So this was like my rollover. I rolled it in to this pay, which gave me $19.01, and I actually needed only $130 to reach $26.46, so that left me with $255 to stuff cash envelopes. So I'm going to do my cash envelope stuffing in a separate video, but I wanted to come back and explain all this to you because this was a lot of information, and because I labeled things the way I did last week, it could have been confusing. It was confusing to me when I first looked at it because I was like, wait a second, bills and emergency fund, oh my gosh, I didn't leave any money for June, because I was thinking that is my sinking fund, when really my emergency fund is part of my sinking fund. So that was not labeled correctly at all, but it's not a big deal because this is the first time I was doing it like this. Now that I've kind of worked through it for a couple weeks, I kind of understand in my own head, you know, like why I did what I did. But yeah, honestly, if it wasn't for this side hustle, I don't know how we would have, you know, made all this work this week, because it's a lot, and it's a lot of situation to process with my husband's unemployment, with me getting furloughed, you know, with all this looming, you know, what ifs on the horizon. I just don't know what's going to happen. And like I said, thank God for an option like this, because this allowed us to meet our bills and make everything come together and cover everything. So I'm very, very grateful. So I hope this all made sense. I am going to write this out differently because this looks awful. And it doesn't lend itself to like an archived situation. Like I can look back at this and it's very easy for me to like kind of instantly see everything, but I need to write this differently because this is just whatever. But for video purposes, this explains everything, and hopefully you got something out of this. And I'll come back and I will give you an updated flip of my new budget notebook, just so you can see everything nicely, and so it starts to make sense, because I'm going to be doing it this way moving forward. And that's about it. So I will keep you posted on my next Grubhub paycheck. I will also keep you posted on my June 2020 monthly budget, how I lay that out. I'll keep you posted on unemployment. I'll keep you posted on my furlough, and I'll keep you posted on my nephew's situation. And I think the next video that I do, he can sit down with me and he can actually have the input of how he wants to allocate his funds. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I think I'm pretty much caught up with comments. I'm going to continue to try and keep on top of that. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you stuck around and did so. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to Jonathan over at Money Talks. He has an excellent channel. I'm going to link it down. I'm going to link his latest video down below. I think you'll really enjoy that. And because a lot of people don't watch until the very end, I will mention his channel again in my next video too, just so he gets a little bit of traction. He has a lot of great information to give and to offer, and I think that you will enjoy the way he explains everything. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.